starting. Let's go. Good luck, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our latest webinar, First Steps to Set Yourself Financially Free. Now, if you think about this topic, it relates to us all. What should we do with the extra money we have? Should we spend it all at once or should we put some away? What are the best options? Will our money be safe? Should we make a short-term investment or rather go for the long term? There are so many questions, and I'm honored to introduce you to a very special guest who will be able to give valuable insights on finance. Please grab a pen and paper because you do not want to miss any tip our guest provides today. Without further ado, let us welcome Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing?
Hi, Morne. I'm excited to be here today with you. And I hope you like my presentation because I'm really passionate about finance and personal finance in this case. So I hope you learn and I hope you get inspired by what I'm going to share with you right now. Thank you for inviting me. This is really special for me.
No, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I mean, I also have my pen and paper ready because I know that we are going to learn so much today. So yeah, thank you once more for being here. And Jennifer, what do you have in store for us?
Sorry, I didn't hear you well. What?
Yeah, so basically, yes, exactly. So what do you have in store for us? What are we going to talk about today?
We were going to talk about money, especially money and debt and how to use it because nobody talked to us about this. And I want to show the truth about debt and money and inspire you to start some changes on how you manage your money and how you can have tools to set yourself financially free.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that sounds amazing, Jennifer. I think we are all ready to kick off this topic and to see what you have in store for us. So yeah, we are all super excited. To the audience as well, guys, if you are excited, give us a thumbs up. I believe we are all ready. So yeah, Jennifer, let's kick off this exciting topic and let's see what you are going to talk about today.
Okay, thank you. So let's talk about money. Nobody taught us how to manage our money. We know how to men with suits and they work in the Wall Street and it's not so complicated like that. It's not so complex. We talk about finance and we think we can learn about it, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about complicated things. I'm going to talk about easy steps to set yourself financially free. I want to empower you to choose what to do with your money. Normally we receive our salaries and we pay our bills and then we go back to zero and we start using our credit card, and that's how our debt gets bigger and bigger, and that's how our payments are so high that we can choose what to do with our money because after we have it, we have to pay things. So the thing is that personal finance is 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge. I want to say with this that we don't need a degree, we don't need to have an MBA, we don't have to go to college to learn about finance. It's something that we can do with our behavior. Because most of us know what to do, but we don't do it. What to do isn't the problem. Doing it, it is. So we know what to do. We know that we have to spend money more wisely, but we don't do it because we are used to it. And all people around us do the same thing. So I can tell myself, this is how everybody lives. And that's not what we want, because we want to be free. We want to do things differently. Being willing to delay the pleasure for a greater result is a sign of our maturity also. So we can tell ourselves that everybody lives like this, but that's not what we are going to do here, because we want to realize that we have a problem. And the 90% of solving the problem is realizing that we have one. When you have bad financial habits, you can fake it and you can believe that you are doing it okay. And your friends and your family will believe, and they will participate in that fantasy or denial, which makes you believe that you're doing it just fine, but you're not, because you're not choosing what to do with your money. So to show you that we have a real problem with our personal finance, I'm going to show you some shocking stats that make you visualize that we really have a problem. For example, 90% of people in our culture buy things they can afford. That's a big problem, because we purchase things with money that we don't have. Another shocking stat, 88% of people that get graduated have a credit card debt even before they have a job. So how can you pay your debts if you don't have a salary or an income? That's a real mess. Another shocking stat, 49% of Americans will cover less than a month if they lost their income. For example, if you lose your job, you will only cover a half month expenses. That's really shocking, and that's a big problem, because what do you do if you lose your job? Are you prepared for it? It could be a really mess in your life. And the last example is 60% of Americans don't pay their credit cards every month. It means that they spend more money than they have and than they pay. So maybe they pay the minimum, so they accumulate the debt with interest, and that gets bigger and bigger, and that's how they lose control over their money. So what I want to encourage you is that if you want to live like no one else, or if you live now like no one else, later you will live like no one else. It means that if you are ready to sacrifice yourself enough, or you are ready to make sacrifice that most of people are not willing to make, later on you will be able to have a bigger result, a bigger gain, and you will be free financially. I'm not against of enjoying your money. I'm against of enjoying your money before you have it, before you are prepared. So I'm going to share the steps. They are some easy steps that you can do easily to set yourself financially free. So the next slide is our first step. We have to create a budget. A budget is people telling their money where to go instead of wondering where it went. If you don't tell your money what to do, it will go away and you won't know where it went. So the thing is that we have to create a list of our salary or our income and all our expenses. And it has to be written because it's easier to visualize everything, what we gain and what we have to pay for. It has to be monthly because each month we will have different expenses or payments, and we have to prepare previously what we are going to pay for. And after the month, the balance should be zero. What do I want to say with this? If we have an income of, for example, $1,000, and we have payments for $800, we will have an extra amount of $200 that should go to savings, for example, or investments. So every dollar we have, it should go somewhere, and we have to decide where it has to go. The next step is starting an emergency fund. You can say, why don't you start with the debt? Because we need to be prepared for any emergency that can arise. For example, there is another shocking stat that says that 78% of people will have a major negative event in a given 10-year period of time. So if we will have any emergency in the future, we have to be prepared. This emergency fund is a little one because we are starting with this process. So for example, we should save like $500, $1,000 quickly, easily. If we don't have it, okay, we can sell things, we can create a garage sale, or maybe work some extra hours, but we have to create this emergency fund to be prepared for little things. Because if we're not, we will use our debt, we will use our credit card, and our problem will be bigger. And we want to be prepared, and we want to set problems like inconvenience because we are prepared for paying whatever we have to pay. So the rules for this emergency fund are: you don't have to use it unless it's a real emergency. Most of people in America, for example, use their credit cards to catch their emergencies. And that's what I'm been talking about. If we use our debt for emergencies, our debt will be increasing and increasing all the time. And our problem will be bigger. And that's not what we want. And we want to use our money wisely. So we won't use our emergency fund unless it's a real emergency. What is a real emergency? Something that we can't, we are not expecting it to happen. For example, losing our job would be an emergency. Paying some medical bills because we are sick or somebody in our family, that's an emergency. Or a car accident, and we have to pay for the insurance policy. What is not an emergency? For example, a new car, Christmas gifts, or a new dress, or starting a new business. That's not an emergency, and that's not how we want to use our emergency fund. The second rule is that we have to keep it liquid. What does it mean? It means that it has to be available to cover any emergency that could arise. If, for example, we invest these funds, we will have to pay some fees to withdraw the money. And we don't want that, because that will encourage us to use our debt instead our emergency fund. And we have it for emergencies, so it has to be available. We have to hide it, because otherwise we will be tempted to use it in some things that are not real emergencies. So it has to be available, but we have to keep it from our hands, so they can't be used unless it's a real emergency. This is our next step. This is a really important step. Here, I want to inspire you to reduce your debt to the minimum. The Forbes magazine had a study where the 70% of people, of rich people, said the best way to build wealth is to become and stay debt-free. They live with less than they made, and they only spend money when they have the cash. So they stay debt-free. Debt is not a tool. We spend things we can afford. We're used to it. We shouldn't pay for things that we can afford. So debt is something that we are so used to in our culture that we can imagine to have a car without a payment, or a house without a mortgage, or being a student without a loan, because we are so used to be under debt. Also, we have our credit card a lot, and the stats say that if we use our credit card, we spend more money than if we have cash. So to complete this step, we have to list our debts from the smallest payoff to the largest. Why we have to start with the smallest? Because we want to have results easily, to keep doing this process. Because if we started with the largest, maybe we wouldn't be able to pay for it, and maybe we will be tempted to quit. And we don't want to quit. We want to stay in control and to have some good results at the beginning, to feel confident that we can do this. So we start paying the smallest. Once we have paid the small debt we have, we can use that money and some extra we can have to pay the second one. And once we pay the first and the second one, we can start with the third one. As we are doing all this, we can cross off the paid items, so we can visualize our progress. If we start with the first one, we can cross over that one, and we can cross over the second one, and we can encourage ourselves to continue with this. So once we pay the first ones, we will be able to pay the last one, and we will be debt-free, and that's what we want, to stay free. The next step is related to the second one, where I talked about the emergency fund. The first emergency fund was a little one to cover small emergencies, to start empowering us to get in control of our money and our situations in life. But this one, it has to be bigger after we paid our debts. We have some extra money to create this emergency fund. How should we create it? It should allow us to live without an income from 3 to 6 months. So if a bigger emergency comes, we will be prepared and we will be free to cover our debts or our payments, and we won't get debt to cover that. So this doesn't mean that we have to save 3 or 6 income amounts. It has to be our bills that they should be covered with this emergency fund, because we can lose our job or we can have anything that will be transformed from a problem, a big problem, to a simple inconvenience that we are prepared for. So that gives you peace, and you will feel calm that you are ready for everything that arise, and you continue with the freedom process. The next step, it's a little bit more advanced, maybe, because we started with the easiest ones, and this one is really important. Imagine that you already have your budget, you already paid all your debts, you have your emergency fund, so if anything happens, you're prepared, and you have some extra money. What should you do? You should start preparing yourself for your retirement. Why do I say that? Because this is how we can become free, because we are taking our responsibility in our future. We can trust the government, or we can think that the future will take care of us. We have to take care of ourselves and being responsible for our retirement. And how do we do this? We can save 15% of our income. That's the percentage that should be allocated to our retirement. And how do we do this? To make it more visual, I'm going to talk about how do we invest and how do we receive our gains on our investments. And to do so, I have to explain what's compound interest. The compound interest is the interest on an investment, calculated on the initial principal and the accumulated interest. In other words, it's interest over the interest. To make it more visual, I prepared a spreadsheet to show you that if each year we invested $6,000, the first one, we will have this beginning investment. We apply this to a 12% rate. At the end of that year, we will have the principal plus the interest. The second year, we will add some extra $6,000 and also the previous accumulated investment. So the second year, we will be having 12K to invest. And we will apply this amount to the same rate. And the second year, we will have 14K. And that's how you see that the investment increases and increases and increases, and it gets accumulated. So if you keep doing this for many years, in a long term, after the last year, the 20th year, we will have a total amount of 500K. So you can see how it increased because we started with $6,000. We kept that investment during the years, and after the last year, we will have a good amount. And consider that this rate, it's a minimum rate. It's a conservative investment. So you could be more risky, or you could use some other ways of investment that has higher rates. So this amount could be even rated. For example, if we had invested 20 years ago in Apple, if we invested $1,000, we would have 1,459K today. And if we invested in NVIDIA, we would have this amount today. So this is how compound interest works. And also in this case, that we are talking about stocks, this is market. This is how the prices increases. And this is how long-term investments have bigger results with a lower risk, because in long-term, the investments, most of them have bigger results. So this is what I want to explain to you, and this is what I want to inspire you to do with your money. And I want to inspire you to be financially free and to take in control of your money and have these bigger results. That I know you can do it. And it's not so hard. It's not so complicated as we thought. It's just starting with easy steps and doing little bigger steps. That's how we can be financially free. So this is all I wanted to share with you today. I don't know if you have any questions or anything that I should clarify. I don't know, Morne, what do you think?
Yeah, Jennifer, no, first of all, thank you so much for this amazing presentation. It was really extremely insightful. I mean, especially the previous slide that you showed us, where it stated that if you invested 1K 20 years ago in Apple, for instance, you'd have 459K today, or 780K today in NVIDIA, 25K today in Microsoft. It's absolutely incredible. So this presentation is extremely insightful, and honestly, I think the audience can also agree with me that we all learned a lot today. And I mean, investments are super important, and it's something that's going to help us in the future. So thank you so much for your time explaining all of this. It's really super insightful.
Thank you for your feedback. And I also want to add that I didn't even include Bitcoin here, because if we had invested 10 years ago Bitcoins or any other cryptocurrency, we will have a lot of money today. So you can win, you can try to. And if you see the investment in a long term, I assure you that you will win.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the truth, Jennifer. I mean, now, if we are looking at the questions, we actually received quite a lot of questions. It just shows how interested people are in finance and when it comes to investments. So basically, the first question comes from Melody, and Melody is stating greetings from Argentina. Hello, Melody. Thank you so much for tuning in. So Melody is asking, how can someone create a budget if someone doesn't have the same monthly salary?
Well, that's a great question. You can make like a media on your income, or you can prevent that, creating exactly like it's not an emergency fund, but you have to be prepared that your income won't be the same all the time. But I'm almost sure that all the months you will have the same amount of payment. So you have to be prepared for that, and you have to take in account that some month will have a higher income and others won't have that result. So that extra money that you have each month should be allocated to be prepared for the variances in the income you have. In this case, the salaries.
Wow, that's an amazing answer. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And then we also have another question coming from LinkedIn, and it states, what company do you recommend investing?
Oh, there are a lot of companies, but as I said before, if you think in a short term, the investments are really risky because the prices and the stocks vary a lot. They change all the time, and you can become like obsessed on the results because one day you will win and the next day you will lose, and that's not how I'm trying you to see the investment. You should take a long-term look, and in a long term you have to look for the results in the companies you want to invest. For example, I have some examples here. They are big companies. You know that they will be in the market for long years. You know that they have great results, so you can start with that. I wouldn't invest in a new company that I don't know if will succeed or not. These are great and bigger companies that you can try with any of these or any other market, for example. Like, let me think of an example. I don't want to make you invest in this, but for example, Coca-Cola. It would be a big company that's have stayed in the market for long years, and you know that they will remain there. So that's how I see the investments.
Yeah, that's incredible advice, Jennifer. And I guess one should also do research, regarding a certain investment. I believe, there are also probably a lot of scams outside,
Yeah,
people be stating that, yeah, you are going to become a millionaire in like 2 months. Invest $10,000 today and you are going to be super rich tomorrow. So I
that's
guess, that's also
sorry.
important, right?
Yeah, that's a great question because nobody will get rich easy. It's not easy. It's something that takes time. The most rich people became rich after their 50 years. So it's not that it's something simple to have. The rate is something really important to see if it's a scam or not. Because if somebody promise that you will have 30% per month, you can notice that it's a scam. Nobody will give you a higher rate with no risk. So the higher rate give you higher risk. So what we want is to have the best combination of risk and rates. We want the higher rates with a lower risk. And that's something that we have to study by looking the information we have available about the market. There are some risky investments with with bad rates, so we won't choose that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, that's amazing advice. I would also like to ask you, let's say, someone is watching that's maybe 40 to 50 years old now, and they want to invest for, let's say, 10 years. Do you think a 10-year investment is like good enough? And what possible investments do you think would be best to like invest for 10 years?
Yeah, absolutely. An investment for longer than 5 years can be considered like long-term investment. So if you have to you have to know yourself and know if you are a conservative investor or if you're more open to risk. That's the first thing. It has to do with your own personality. So if you want to invest for 10 years, it depends. It depends on how risky you are or how conservative you are. This example I gave here is for conservative expenses, conservative investments, I mean. After 10 years, we will have a lot of money over what we invested each year. Because over 10 years, we will be investing $60,000 and we will have more than the double of it. So it's a good investment, right? And it's a minimum rate. So imagine if you had a bigger rate, you will have a better result. And it's only 10 years. So you can invest from now and you will have a higher opportunity to have a better result if you didn't than if you didn't.
Yeah, that's incredible advice. You can start investing today, and at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it in 10 years, as you just mentioned now. And also from the table that you just showed us, I saw the 12% rate there. So that percentage, is it basically a monthly percentage or is it annually? The
It's
12%.
annually. All the uh, investment analysis, it's in yearly rates. We can calculate it monthly, but this is a year rate. So mostly the rates are in annual terms. This
Okay,
is
so
what
that
you will gain after 1 year.
okay. So monthly, that would be more or less like 1%, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. It's like a proportion. And if you
Okay.
invested $500 the first month, you will have after that 1 month 1% of interest. That would be $5 extra.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's
By doing
incredible.
nothing. By doing
Yeah,
nothing.
the
But just
money is
waiting.
basically, yeah, the money is working for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's
That's
awesome.
that's amazing because we are not doing nothing and we are gaining money.
Yeah. Okay. So Jennifer, we also have a question from Polo, and Polo is asking what percentage of income should be saved or invested to work towards financial freedom?
Well, after you completed all these easy steps, these basic steps, any extra money you have, you can invest it. First, you have to invest in your retirement because you want to be free in the future. You want to be safe. You want to be calm that you will live with this money. But if you have an extra money, you have to invest. You can invest it. Any extra money you have can be invested, or you can spend money in some things you want, like a new car, for example. Now that you have the money and now you want to spend it in things that you like, and you don't have to borrow money. You can do whatever you want. Whatever that makes you happy, you can do it. If investing is making you happy, you can do it. The 15% should be allocated to your retirement. Any extra could be invested in anything you want.
That's incredible advice, Jennifer. Yeah, thank you so much for your insights. I find the following question also super interesting. So Tembi is asking, does every investment have compound interest? If I invest and it doesn't have compound, would it still be worth it?
You always will invest in compound interest, because you will have an interest and after a period, and you decide if you want to reinvest that amount or not. So that's not a big problem, because you will be deciding to invest the accumulated amount.
Okay, that's awesome. And then Jennifer, we also have Sophia here, and Sophia is asking, what are some simple daily habits that can help us save money?
A good habit would be, for example, take notes on what we spend each month, each day, because that makes you conscious about how you are using your money. If you don't take notes of it, you won't notice where the money went, and you won't be conscious about that. So, for example, if you're spending money in some things that you don't really need, you can take a decision after looking it, after making it visual for you, because otherwise you're not conscious and you don't notice that you're spending money in things that you don't really need, for example.
Yeah, that's incredible advice.
A good advice is taking notes of everything you spend. And that's easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess there are probably also investments that are like 100% safe. I guess there are investments out there. You can put your money away today and it's guaranteed that you will receive that money and the extra compound as well at the end of the day, right?
Okay. When I studied finance, the only investment with zero risk is the treasury bonds of the US government, because we all trust that the US government will pay us. They can issue money and they can create money, and they will pay for us. So that's the rate free of risk rate. We think that we won't lose money if there is no risk.
Okay, awesome. But with these options, are the interest rates like fewer than more risky options?
Yeah, of course. They are conservative rates, and the rates won't be big, maybe, but they are safe. And it depends on your personality. If you want to be safe and be calm and be sure that you will win, for example, 8% per year, or if you are more risky and you want to go for a higher rate. It depends on you, on how much risk you can take.
Yeah, from my end, I would rather choose a conservative option. That's my personality, because at the end of the day, if I need to take a risky investment, I don't think I'll sleep at night, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you have to know yourself, and you have to know your limits, and this is for living in peace, not to get obsessed about your investments and being worried about that. If you're a conservative person, you have a conservative investment and you will be fine and you will be in peace. If you
100%.
can take a higher risk, go for it because you are prepared and maybe your personality can live with that and can be in peace with that. It depends on yourself.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Okay, so the next question is more related to JobDoc, and it states, what tips or advice could you give me to better my chances of having a successful interview? My interview is tomorrow. Thank you so much for the webinar. The webinar is amazing. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for your question. Well, basically, I would say the first thing that you need to do is to test your camera, your internet speed, and your microphone. Make sure that everything is working correctly. And you should also have a clear background with minimum noise. That's also really important. I would say that you need to dress professionally. And I'm saying that because even though it's a virtual interview, it's still an interview and an opportunity for a real life full-time position. I would also say that it's important to be on time for your interview. Be there at least 5 minutes before the interview starts. That would show that you are ambitious and looking forward to meeting us and working with us. And then when it comes down to stress, guys, that happens as well. But we have a great interviewer team that totally understands. So if you are nervous before the interview, it's really okay. Take a deep breath and believe in yourself and your skills. And yeah, I would say go out there and give it your all. And no matter the outcome, be proud of yourself, knowing that you gave it your best shot. And then when it comes to the questions, you could expect general questions regarding the position you are applying for, your skills, your experience, expectations, and so on. But yeah, at the end of the day, we are pretty sure that you will do an amazing job. We wish you the best of luck. And yeah, fingers crossed. Enjoy your interview tomorrow. Thank you so much for your question. Okay, so moving on, we still have a couple of questions regarding finance. I just want to make sure that I haven't asked you already. Okay, so how should one prioritize paying off debt versus saving and investing? I think that's a really great question.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, of course. So it states, how should one prioritize paying off debt versus saving and investing?
I will start with the debt because otherwise it can be bigger and bigger and bigger, and we are not solving our problem because we won't pay our debts with our investment because we want to keep it there for many years. So the first step is to be financially free is have the less amount of payments per month. Once we have a less amount of payments per month, we can decide where to put our money. And this is what it's all about, deciding what to do with our money and managing wisely. If we keep our debts bigger and bigger and bigger, how can we pay for it if we are investing and keeping our investment for years? We have to be safe, and we have to start from the beginning. I mean, the debt is something basic that we can change in our life before starting with the investments or the savings. The savings can be the emergency fund, as I said before, to be prepared for any emergency we have. But I would always start from the debt, and once I have the extra money to decide what to do with it, decide if I want to invest or what I want to do with the money.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
it's like, sorry, I want to add something. It's like debt make us like slaves to the banks or to the lenders. It's like we are having to pay things for many years, maybe, and we accumulate interest that we have to pay for them. And that's not really wise, maybe. So that's what we want to decrease at the beginning of this process of changing our habits, our financial habits. Stay debt free. That's how rich people got free, without payment, without debt. And that's how they did it. Nobody got rich with a big amount of debt. So I think that the first step is taking control of that and decreasing as faster as we can our debt.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that could be a pain. So that's incredible advice, Jennifer. And I mean, yeah, to our viewers as well, if you found Jennifer's presentation insightful, give her a thumbs up or let us know in the comments section below. And yeah, speaking about the presentation, you can gain access to it by subscribing to our bi-weekly newsletters. So our moderators will share a link to the subscription page in the comment section, or you can simply visit our website at jobdoc.com, scroll down from the main page and subscribe from there. We are constantly sharing valuable information, including blogs, downloadable resources, or our latest career opportunities, and so much more. And yeah, you will also receive this presentation in our next edition, this specific finance presentation. So we are welcoming you with open arms to the JobDoc newsletter community. So we will be sharing the link shortly. Click on the link, subscribe to our newsletter, and you guys will receive valuable content each and every week. So moving on, we still have a couple of minutes left, Jennifer. So
do we have any more questions?
Yeah, so we have one more question coming from the mic. So the mic is asking, if I want to invest, how long should I invest and which investment types are the best?
They are different kind of investments. It depends on your goal. If you for example, if you want to invest in your retirement, you have to think long term, because you won't retire in 5 years. I guess you will retire in more years, for example, 20 years. It depends, for example, what you want to do with your money. What you want that money for. You want to retire, you want to purchase a car, whatever you want to do with it. So there's not a best type of investment. It depends on what's your goal. In this case, I'm focusing on the long-term investment because it's the biggest win. I mean, it's almost sure that we will win investing in the biggest companies that have good results each year after year. And that's like that's almost sure that you will win. But it depends on your goal. As I said, any investment is good. Putting your money somewhere and having an extra just for waiting, it's better than doing nothing with it. So, as I said, it depends on your personality. It depends on how conservative you are or how risky you are. And, well, it depends on your extra money to invest also. So each kind of investment is good. I'm not, the risky ones are not my favorite either. For example, the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is so risky. It's so it changes all the time. So if you invest a lot of it, you can lose a lot of your money. If you want to keep for it for many years, maybe you will win. The good advice that I could give you is not investing all in the same kind of investment. You have to diversify. You have to, the diversification makes you decrease the risk because you are putting a little here and a little there, and if something goes wrong, you won't lose the whole money you had. You will lose a little bit, and maybe the other part will gain a little bit more. So you decrease your risk by diversifying your investments.
Yeah, that is incredible advice, Jennifer, especially when it comes to, diversifying your portfolio. I think that's super important.
Exactly.
Because I think at times, people are taking an amount and they are putting 100% of that amount into one thing. And as you just said now, diversifying your portfolio is probably the way to go because
Yeah.
it's making your chances better of winning at the end of the day. And you could get a solid percentage and return at the end of the day with diversifying your portfolio. I think that's an amazing insight from you.
Yeah, and another advice would be that if you want to choose, for example, stocks, and you want to invest in stocks, you should select different companies from different markets. Because, for example, if the oil goes down and you put all your money in different companies in the same market, you will lose all your money anyways because the market is going down. So if you diversify the markets, for example, a technological company, energy company, a little bit on each one, and you add to, for example, entertainment company, you diversify the markets. So if something goes wrong in the economy, you have money in different spots of the economy, and you will be lowering your risk also.
That's incredible. Yeah, it's really something to think about, and I love this webinar and the insights you're providing to us. I think it's so great. And, finance is something that's worldwide. All of us need money, to survive, to have food on the table. So it's something that relates to all of us. And yeah, I mean, your advice is incredible. Jennifer, I see that we don't have any more questions, so could we maybe move to the final slide, please?
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, Jennifer, I mean, thank you once more for a super insightful presentation. I took some notes and feel way more comfortable knowing what to do with the money I wish to save. And yeah, to our audience as well, thank you all so much for tuning in. And remember that if you're interested in any of our career opportunities, visit our website at jobdoc.com and apply today. We help incredible people build amazing careers working from home for US-based business. And yeah, we hope to meet you soon. Best of luck with your application. And yeah, Jennifer, would you like to add any final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to thank you for inviting me here to share my knowledge about finance and to share my thoughts about it. And I hope I inspire you to do different things with your money and to take different decisions about it. And I hope I inspired you to set yourself financially free because it's a better way of living, and money is something that we all need, and it depends on how we use it. The result will we have. So I hope you start with the steps, the easy steps, and you try them, and I hope it works for you.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Maybe in the future we'll have a part 2.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be
It would be
amazing.
really
Yeah.
nice. I
Yeah,
noticed that people was really interested about investments, so maybe we could continue with that.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, guys, thank you once more. And yeah, until next time. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.